Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards is spending a lot of moolah on his mane. The ex-senator spent $400 on a haircut at a Beverly Hills barber, then 2 weeks later laid down another $4 at the very same salon. I sincerely hope Edwards got a happy ending with that. Or did they only do that at massage parlors? Either way, I want one. Hey, we're here. We're back. We're back with Joe Giardello. I said your name correctly. Political consultant and co-founder of Political USA. How are you?
Doing great, Greg.
Ah, you called me Gary. I deserve that. I deserve it. So this is what I don't understand. He spends $800 over 3 weeks. It's still a lousy haircut, isn't it?
It is. You know, I think if but for a flow bee, John Kerry would probably be president today. And I long for the days of you know, the olden days when politicians didn't care about their appearance, they didn't care how they looked or how their hair looked. They just wore those white powdered wigs like John McCain, for instance. And I think that's the things we should get back to. And worrying about his hair so much, I don't know, maybe Ann Coulter had it right. I thought only gay men spent that much time and money on their hair.
No, you know, Bill spends a lot of time on his hair.
Oh, and it's obviously worth it, Greg. The bottom line is you cannot legislate fabulousness. If this guy wants to get his hair did at a grossly inflated price, I say you go, girl.
Or boy. Or girl-boy. Hybrid.
I'll call him whatever I want.
He's like some Jaya, you know.
Dr. Hill, he raises a good point. Here's the thing, though. If, you know, if he's that rich, proportionally, $800 is nothing. I mean, I would be more worried if he was like Ross Perot, who was about, he's a billionaire, and he would get a $4 haircut every
day. Like Trump, right. Yeah. I mean, the problem here, though, is that the whole thing that held him back before is the idea that he's not smart and that he's a pretty boy. And so for the news to leak that he gets $400 haircuts on a regular basis, it just adds to that rumor. It's unfounded. I mean, he's clearly a smart guy. You don't become a senator and a vice presidential candidate without being smart most of the time. And I think he is smart, but this really hurts his campaign. And everyone does. That's the other thing. Everyone gets expensive haircuts who does this thing. He just gets he's the one who gets outed.
I get the full body cut.
Ooh, that's a lot of information.
And I gotta say, as much as I hate agreeing with Greg, it's a good point. Like, not that I should talk, it's not a good haircut. I mean, that's a $7 haircut.
I have it on good authority that Bush spends about $30 on a haircut. But didn't this whole thing with the Democrats spending a lot of money on their haircut start with Bill Clinton when the LA Times reported that he was sitting on the tarmac at LAX and he had Christophe come in and give him a $200 haircut?
Same guy, right?
And and this guy far out does the whole Clinton
Mitt Romney has great hair. But you know, I can't think of a great leader that had really great hair. I mean, Reagan had funny hair, but he was a great leader. But no one had really great hair.
Tony Snow has great hair, and he's in the White House right now.
You know who has terrible hair? Rush Limbaugh. And I want to talk about him because he said recently that he believes that there's an 80% chance that Hillary Clinton will be the next president. Joe, do you think he's right?
No, I don't, and I think he's ignoring history by saying that in Democratic primaries, front runners don't always win in Democratic primaries. In fact, usually it's someone who is not one of the front runners, who's kind of a dark horse who comes out of nowhere and wins, and that really is Barack Obama in this race. But I do have to say with Hillary that if John Edwards wants a manly haircut, he's got to find out who Hillary Clinton's stylist is.
That's so true. Isn't it true that the more you know about Hillary, the less you like her?
Absolutely. That's why I think she's not going to win. I think Rush knows that, too. I think this is a tactic to get people upset, to get people to the polls, to challenge Hillary Clinton.
Rachel, he's worried about Giuliani because Giuliani is now getting picked apart over his past.
By the right, he's getting picked apart, and it's dividing the base. But I think, you know, if it was possible to gauge who was going to win a presidential election at this point in the race, Howard Dean would now be president, but we all know what happened to him in Iowa when he had that big scream. Everybody's like, I don't think I want him too close to the red button.
Exactly.
So it's possible to implode, and it's still pretty early in the race, but I think this is Rush rallying the base. I think you're right.
I think so.
Rush wants Hillary to win. He came to prominence during the Clinton administration and lambasting him all the time, and he's looking for a big bullseye.
Oh, this is so weird.
An adult film star, Joanna Angel. She claims to be an angel born on Christmas Day and is a star of movies like Kill Girl Krill and New Wave Hookers. I saw that one. Actually, I've never seen any of her movies. In fact, I've never watched a minute of porn in my life. I swear never. I prefer board games and Yahtzee. Joanna, it's great to have you here.
It's good.
You were born on Christmas.
I was born on Christmas.
Now, are you Catholic or a Christian?
I am Jewish. There's just not an
so it doesn't matter.
So what day of Hanukkah was that?
So I was going to say, would that have caused you to become an adult porn actress, the fact that you get presents on Christmas, but it's for your birthday?
Well, you know what people usually do, since Christmas and Hanukkah are all sort of, you know, in the holiday season, is people usually just give you one present. When your birthday's on Christmas, you just get one present, and they're just like, well, here's a present, and it's supposed to satisfy for everything.
That's not enough.
Yeah, I'm
that left you
at the same rate, people who usually don't, wouldn't remember my birthday do remember my birthday.
Yeah.
So, that's nice.
Joanna, I want to
People
ask
really
you
give
about
me
your
on a
career.
holiday.
Now, you are an adult film star, and
Who told you?
I've never actually met one before in my life, so I have so many questions.
Such a lie.
Now, how many of your orgasms are real?
I actually, all my orgasms on camera are real.
Really?
God bless America.
And I'm a director as well, and I try to tell everybody who works for me that they are not leaving until everybody has a real orgasm.
Obviously,
That's like health insurance.
That'd be great if that was the rule on this show, too.
I think every woman should always have a real orgasm when they're having sex, whether it's on, off camera,
Well, and clearly you're blessed, but is that
orgasms.
difficult for some of your stars? I assume some of them just can't get there because they're told to, yeah?
I mean,
I'm
it's
asking
the
'cause I
guy's
don't-
job.
That's true.
That
Yes.
guy can't get her off. He's fired.
When you date
in the industry.
Do you run into problems when you date men? You must date people outside of the
Hey,
industry.
well, I saw the first half of the show. Dating men, no matter what you're doing, wherever you are, is always going to be problematic. So,
Yeah, that's very true.
That is so true.
Sometimes more
I think I
problematic
had
than
just
others,
as many
but-
problems with men before porn than.
What about your fans? I mean, you have a huge fan base.
Thank you.
Does it bother you when someone is that obsessed with you? I mean, like follows you around?
I like my fans. I always look forward to meeting fans when I have any signings or any kind of event where I get to meet my fans. I'm not scared of them. I mean, there are much bigger things to be scared of in the world than
I've seen your movies.
Horny guys are harmless, or horny girls for that matter. I mean,
Speaking of
there
horny
are
guys,
scarier things in the world.
Speaking of horny guys, tell me the celebrities that have hit on you.
I'm not.
Come on!
Kids?
Rock stars love porn actresses. It's a fact.
I'm not here.
Tommy Lee.
I've always thought Tommy Lee was gorgeous, and he has never hit on me. And I've been in the same room as him so many times. He's hit on my friends.
He licked
and
my
not
face
me.
once. He
Did
licked my face. I had to go to the doctor.
There are worse
So did
people that could
Tommy.
lick your face.
What other
Tommy's a
Come on,
good-looking guy.
spill the beans.
I'm not spilling any beans. I'm just really.
All
I
right,
think
let's
my
ask-
life is like some crazy Hollywood party, but I sit at home on the internet every night, probably doing the same things that you do.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to be doing that.
Really?
You don't want to be doing
Debate
that.
over shock jocks right now and the Don Imus thing. Have you done shock jock shows like Howard Stern's show?
I actually have never done Howard Stern. I was.
Literally.
Well, I've never been on the show, and I was supposed to be on the show, and one of the producers of the show called me and interviewed me, and they sent me an email, and I actually posted it on my blog because it was really funny. They told me that I was too smart, and I have my my stuff together too much to
they
be
say
on the
that in the
show.
email?
They did. I posted it on my blog on Joanna.
By the way, you brought up your blog. Where can people read your blog?
They can go to joannaangel.com, or they can go to burningangel.com to read my blog.
Already been there.
Yes. And you've been there on work time.
You're a dirty boy.
I actually, come to think of it, I could expense it now that you've been on the show.
Oh, really? It's research?
Thank you, Miss Grails.
Post-research to make...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, in case we want you back on again.
All right. We got to move on, Joanna. It was a pleasure, and we will have you on. That's it. It was almost 20 minutes, but it went so fast.
I'm going to cry.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. We have medication. We got to move along. Thank you, Joanna Angel. JoannaAngel.com. Does that work?
JoannaAngel.com or BurningAngel.com.
Okay.